Here are 15 new shortcuts that you requested, from automatically texting a holiday greeting to a list of contacts, to adding movies that you want to see to your reminders list with the movie poster, brand new actions in iOS 18 like getting the current app on screen, play a custom sound when you receive an email or text message, calendar automations, and more. And many of these are coming from my shortcuts and automation community. You can go to create.beard.fm and sign up, and you'll be joining almost 400 people here talking about automations, sharing their own shortcuts that they've built. And if you become a paying member for $5 a month, you get access to my shortcuts database. And here you can search for a specific shortcut or browse by topic. Get my Shortcuts 101 videos ad-free, hosted right here. And paying members also get access to the special shortcuts request field, and I prioritize trying to build those here in the videos. So you can join for free today and then support with $5 a month at create.beard.fm, and that supports the channel right here. All right, let's build some shortcuts. First off, we actually have some new actions in iOS 18 in the latest betas. We'll start a new shortcut here, and the new action is getting the current app. You can search for Get Current App, and again, I'm on the iOS 18.2 beta, and this Get Current App action allows you to either get the current app that you're using or multiple visible apps. That's probably useful for an iPad where you can split screen. And you can create some pretty cool automations with this action. For instance, I created this shortcut where it gets the current app, and then the next thing is an if statement where if the current app is Shortcuts, which I have open right now, it's going to take a screenshot. Otherwise, it's not going to do anything. And this could be mapped to the back tap of your iPhone or the action button. So if I hit play, because we're in the Shortcuts app, it will take a screenshot. And then I can do other actions like I've shown in previous videos. But this gets really powerful if you pair it with the action button. So I'll put this shortcut, and you can download all of these in the video description below. But this gets the current app and then has multiple if statements. So depending on what app you're in, it'll do something different. So if the current app is Apple Podcasts, it's going to skip forward by 3 minutes. If the current app is Safari, it's going to get the text of that website, summarize it using ChatGPT, and then show that on screen. Or if the current app is Messages, it's going to find a GIF using Giphy and copy it to my clipboard so I can send it to someone. Let's map this to the action button and see what it does. Here in Settings, I'll go to the action button, and then for shortcut, let me search for the new shortcut. I called it my master action button. And now, if we go to something like Apple Podcasts, and let's say we're listening to Primary Technology. By the way, that's my tech podcast. New episodes every Thursday with my good friend Jason Aten. You can follow the show on YouTube above, or links to the podcast are down in the description. But let's say I'm listening to the show, and I want to skip forward 3 minutes. I can hold the action button, and because I'm in the podcast app, it will do the skip forward 3 seconds. Now, if I go to the Messages app, let's say I'm in a conversation and I want to quickly search a Giphy or do other actions. Now when I do the action button, it's going to search because it knows the app that's currently on screen. I can search for a GIF, I can tap one here, it copies it to my clipboard automatically, and now I can hit paste in the message, send the GIF, and now the action button will do that whenever I'm in the Messages app. Or if I go over to Safari, and let's say I'm looking at this holiday tech gift guide from, oh, that's right, it's my website. So now when I run the action button, it's going to get the plain text of the website. Then after a few moments, ChatGPT is going to give me that summary right here, and it will do that only when I'm in the Safari app. So this new Get Current app opens up a world of possibilities, especially for the action button. All right, number 3, one of the comments here on YouTube, someone wanted to save movies to reminders, but I went a little further and actually get the image from the iTunes store and attaches it to the reminder. And then it's going to add it to our inbox. So when you run this shortcut, you can search for a movie. Let's search for Wicked. Yes, I am completely obsessed. I saw it in theaters last week. And if I choose a movie, it's now going to add that to my reminders. You can have a specific movie list, and it should also attach the image. Let's go over to our reminders. And sure enough, there's the Wicked movie, and you can create a list called Movies and add all of these there. Plus, it attaches the link to the iTunes store or to rent and buy the movie in the reminder URL field, and the image of the movie poster is also attached. Great suggestion. Remember, you can find that down in the video description. It's called Movie to Reminders. This next person wanted to automate reminders being created when they receive an email from someone with a particular subject line. So this is a simple shortcut we're going to plug into an automation. This gets a shortcut input and then adds something from the shortcut input to a list in my reminders called emails. So now let's go over to the Automations tab, and we're going to create a new email automation. I'll hit the plus icon, go down to Email. Here you can choose the specific sender, which you probably want to specify. Then if there's a specific word in the subject that's always sent with this email, you can type that word here. I'm going to put the word report in the subject line. You can also specify which email account. So I'm going to choose my Fastmail account there. And then you can also choose the recipient. So if it's a specific list of people that always get it, you can specify there. And we want this to run immediately. Now we're going to go to Next, New Blank Automation. Then for this Run shortcut, I'm going to tap here and we can search for our new reminder from email. That's the one we just created. Now I'm going to expand this action because where it says input, we want to make sure to choose the right variable, which is the shortcut input. And even there, we can now tap where it says shortcut input, and then what do we want to include in the reminder? Well, email will actually be the body of the email, the text, or you can also choose the subject, sender, and other information. But we're just going to have the text of the email added to the reminder. Let's hit done, and let's send a test email, and we should see the shortcut run. So I'm sending an email from the email address that I had specified with the word report in the subject line. Now the automation is running because I just got that email hitting my inbox. Now we shouldn't see anything else happen. It should just automatically create the reminder for us. Now I created a reminders list called emails, and I see there's already one task in there. And if I go in there, it's now created the reminder, and we have the body text, which is get it done, right here in the reminder. So now you'll automatically get reminders created whenever you receive an email from that particular person with that subject line. All right, this next person wanted to hear an audible alert, like a custom sound, when they received a message with particular words. So I created just a simple automation, and you can use this multiple times. I created an audio file here, and I just did this by recording a voice memo and then sharing that file into my iCloud Drive as an M4A file. Now when I play the sound, hey, this is a big deal, I can have this run whenever there's an automation. So let's go back and create an automation. This person wanted it to come from Telegram, but unfortunately there's only triggers for things like messages that are built in. So this would have to be messages that come in via email or the built-in Messages app. But if we do the Messages app, sender can be anyone, and let's say message contains BTC above. This person wanted to know when Bitcoin was above a certain number, but we'll just use that. This way it gets any number that is after above. We want this to run immediately. Hit Next, New Automation. We're going to search for our Run shortcut again, and here I'm going to search for my Big Deal shortcut. There's the Big Deal sound. I'll hit Enter. We'll hit Done. And now when I receive a text with those words, I'm going to send a message with the words BTC above. Hey, this is a big deal. The automation automatically ran and that audio file played. And you can customize this for different text messages, emails that come in, whatever you'd like. Number 6, one of the comments from the channel, someone wanted background sounds, but with a menu to choose how long they play. So I created this shortcut, which turns on background sounds, and you can adjust these in the accessibility settings over at settings if you want a different sound. This has a choose from menu option, 5, 10, or 20 minutes, and I did a 1-second option just so we could demo it here in the video. And then it uses the wait command to have your device wait a certain amount of time before stopping the background sounds. These wait commands can be a little finicky if you do things that are very long. 20 minutes is probably pushing it, but you can try adding different seconds here in the wait commands. For me, it's a little easier to do a number action and then the wait rather than tapping a little plus and minus next to the wait command. And then however long this menu is going to wait, it will turn the background sounds off. So let's try it. So I chose the 1 second and they quickly turned off. If I did it again, and now it's waiting, and so it'll turn off at the time you selected in the menu. All right, this next person had a great request. They wanted to auto-text a list of contacts, something like Happy Holidays, but only if there's a mobile number or iPhone number in their contact card. So I created this shortcut. This is going to pull contacts from a group you selected. And so in this first action, create a list on your phone in the Contacts app and choose that list. So you can make a list called Holidays, select that group here. This is going to get phone numbers from the contact, but if you have multiple phone numbers for someone, I'm going to have to get the first item from those phone numbers. So you're going to have to look at your contacts and see if the first number listed is actually the right one. Then it's going to send the message to the item from the list. Otherwise, it's not going to work properly, and it's going to send multiple messages to the same person. Now I toggled off the show and run here, so now when I run it, it should just totally in the background get the first phone number listed for someone that has a phone number in their contact and automatically text them. And if I check the messages there, it says Merry Christmas. So this will work, and it will repeat with multiple people that you have in the list. Just you might have to double check to make sure that first phone number is correct in their contact. Now you could have a choose from list option here, but then you would have to manually choose the contact for each person. And I'm trying to get it rolling so it's completely automated. All right, this next person wanted to get photos that were only taken by their iPhone. It's actually a little complicated because there's not a filter here in the Find Photos action to say just the device iPhone. So what I did here is I used the Find All Photos action here at the top. For here, you can adjust this first action, but it's going to find photos taken in the last 5 days, and you can change that to months, years, and however many you'd like. For file extension, I put HEEK because that's the actual extension that the iPhone puts at the end of images when it's taken. That should eliminate a lot of other images, like if you've imported it from somewhere or it's a mirrorless camera image. I also added is not a screenshot, so it won't show me that. And then image type is image, so not videos and not anything audio. Then it's going to show me all those images in the quick look. So if you run this shortcut, you should get just images, just taken by your phone, and then you can swipe through them here in the quick view, and you have the share button at the bottom left if you'd like to do anything with those photos. Next, someone wanted to quickly be able to crop images so it would fit the iPhone. So I have this shortcut here, and what it does is it finds all photos, and I have some other criteria, like I've taken it in the last 6 months, is not a screenshot, is an image. I can select multiple photos from that first action. Then with every photo, it's going to repeat these, which is to crop the image. This is the resolution of an iPhone 16 Pro Max, so the biggest phone screen size you'll need. For position, you might want to change this depending on your photos. Right now it's going to crop to the center, but depending on your images, you can also choose a corner or even do a custom position of the image. Then it's going to save those cropped images to my photo library. If I run this shortcut, now I can choose images, even multiple. I'm just going to select this one for right now. When I hit add, it's going to automatically crop those images to the resolution and then resave them to my photo library. And if I go over to my Photos app, you'll see the last picture is now that cropped image of Elphaba. I told you I'm kind of obsessed. And if you chose multiple images, it will crop all of them in a row. All right, number 10, someone wanted an automation that actually announces who texted them when a text comes in. So this one's been a little finicky. I'm trying different variations where basically it takes the shortcut input, finds contacts where the phone number is that shortcut input. I limit it because it ended up getting everyone from my contacts and I had to restart my phone. Then a little text block that says so-and-so just texted you. And this contacts variable, you can choose full name. And then the last action is speak text. Then over in the automation section, I did when a message contains anything with a space, so I ran the shortcut who texted me, and for the shortcut input, I chose sender. It's been working sometimes, periodically. I keep having to adjust things in the actual shortcut back here, but I'll put it in the description so you can play around with it. Just make sure you set this to like a limited number, because it literally just started speaking every name in my contacts list. All right, this next is an email forward, meaning every time you get an email from someone, it automatically forwards to someone else. This is easy to do in the Automations tab. We'll choose email. Again, you can choose from a specific sender or subject contains. This can be anything. I'll choose something like monthly report. You can also choose multiple accounts, but I'll just choose my personal. And recipient means anyone's in the to field. We want this to run immediately, then hit next. Let's do new blank automation. And then this is really a one-step automation. We can now search for mail, and you'll see here all the actions you can do with mail. We're going to choose the send email action, and if we wanted to, we could expand this and show the compose window every time this runs. But if you want this to happen just totally behind the scenes, you can choose in the send option, tap where it says message, and here we're actually going to choose shortcut input. And once you tap shortcut input, then you can actually tap shortcut input again, and you can choose what you want to be in the body of your forwarded email. I'm going to choose email. This way it just sends the content of the email I received. You can choose your recipients here from your contacts, and then you can type in a custom subject, or if it's the same every time, you can hard code a subject like monthly report. We'll turn off the show compose sheet because we want this to happen every time. You choose what email account to send this from, and we'll hit done. Then whenever you receive an email with that word in the subject line, it will automatically send that email to the people you choose here with the content of that email in your message. All right, this next one is we're announcing different reminders and contacts. Mark from the Shortcuts community wanted to hear whenever there's a new calendar event coming up. So I created this shortcut. What this does is, and whenever this runs, if there's an event in the next 30 minutes across all of your calendars, and to make this even more useful, you might want to tap here and select the specific work calendar where these events take place. But if there's an event in the next 30 minutes in that calendar, that's where this if statement is. If there's any value, it's going to get the title of that event. It's also going to vibrate your device, and then it's going to speak this text saying, "Hey, Mark, your next meeting with the title of the event starts in 5 minutes." And it's going to speak that out loud. But if there's no event, it's not going to do anything. If I run this right now, nothing should happen because there's nothing in my calendar right now. But let's add an event. Let's call this the Build New Shortcuts event. This is going to happen in about 15 minutes, and we're going to add it to our calendar. Now, if I run this automation, it should speak that calendar event out loud. And let's see what happens when we play it.
Hey Mark, your next meeting, Build New Shortcuts starts in 5 minutes.
So that's the shortcut. It works for new calendar events, but in order for this to reliably run when there's a new event, you're going to have this run multiple times throughout the day. So what you would need to do is go to the Automations tab, hit the plus button, and you're going to have to do something like time of day. You're going to run this, let's say you work a normal 9 to 5. Maybe we want this to run every day at 8:55 a.m. We want this to run daily, every day. And remember, this is why it's helpful to choose a specific calendar, so it would only be your work events. We want it to run immediately. You don't need to notify when run. So every day at 8:55, it's going to check your calendar. And if there's an event scheduled for 9 a.m., it's going to run that shortcut. We'll have to hit next, do new blank automation. We're going to choose run shortcut, and we're going to select announce calendar events. Now you can download the shortcut in the video description. You will have to create these automations on your own. Let's test it to see if it will actually work with the event we created.
Hey Mark, your next meeting, Build New Shortcuts starts in 5 minutes.
And then we can hit done. Now the cumbersome part is going to be, the only way this can reliably happen is if you create an automation like that every 30 minutes. So you need 8:55, then 9:25, then 9:55. And if you create those automation running the exact same shortcut every time, then you will be notified with an announcement whenever you have an event on your calendar. Unfortunately, there's no repeat automation as far as at certain times. And unfortunately, there's no triggers for when I have a calendar event here. Hopefully this will be updated with more actions sometime in the near future. But that's a way you can do it right now using timed automations and the shortcut I put below. This next shortcut is also from the community. This person wanted the automation to check if he has calendar events the next day and then to set alarms. He already created shortcuts to run, and if events have certain names with certain alarms to be created. The only thing I had to add here is find all calendar events, and what you want to add is the start date is in the next 24 hours. That's a filter you can add here. This way it will just check your calendar for the next day, and if there's no events in the next 24 hours, and you can choose the specific work calendar up here, then it will only create the alarms when there's an event on that calendar. So just make sure the find all calendar events is how you start, and the filter is the start date is in the next 24 hours, and you can leave the rest of your shortcut as is. All right, the last two. This one, a person wanted to create a reminder and a calendar event at the same time. So what this shortcut does, this is going to ask for the title of the event, the start time, and then I have another action here that adds an hour. That's going to be helpful for adding it to our calendar. It asks for input here, any details for the event, then creates the reminder in our inbox and adds the calendar event. So let's run this. I'll choose a date and time, any details. I'll hit done, and it should create the calendar event and reminder automatically. Let's go to the calendar and see if it's there. And there's the hour-long event, and it's in our reminders in the inbox list as well. And lastly, this is from the Shortcuts community. XYZ is asking, can you take a video, transcribe it, and send it to the Notes app? So the Notes can transcribe and even summarize audio, but if you have a video file, what I've done here is this is going to appear in the share sheet when you have a video like in your Photos app. It's actually going to encode that video to audio and then add that audio to a new note in a folder in your Apple Notes app. You'll want to choose a specific folder here before you run it, so it's one of your folders. But now I'll go to one of the videos, like this TikTok video I saw. Yes, it was also about Wicked. I'm going to scroll down to my Encode Media and Transcribe shortcut. This might take a little while because it's actually going to compress it into an audio-only file. It's going to name the note. I'll call it Defying Gravity. And now it's encoded that video into an audio file here in my Notes app, titled the note there. And as you can see, it's already transcribing the audio. If I tap into this, I can now scroll and see the transcription of that video. Now, whenever you have a video file in your Photos app or in your files, you can send it to Notes and automatically transcribe it and even get a summary if you have Apple Intelligence on your devices. So those were 15 new shortcuts for iPhone. If you have more requests, keep leaving them in the comments below this video. And again, you can join the community at create.beard.fm. Support the community, and I'll prioritize your requests in that shortcuts request form. But I'm always looking for shortcuts via your email, your social media posts, and of course your comments below. It's a great place to put them. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button before you go. And if you're interested in more shortcuts, I have an entire playlist starting with Shortcuts 101 and building on all those skills. You can check that one out up here. And if you want to learn more about Apple Intelligence and some of the features coming with iOS 18.2, I did an entire video on that. You can check it out right up here. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.